This guy was a negative last weekend. This weekend, I'm only confident in 2 of the 6 choices. Chase Lehocky here with the Blue Futon reviewing the box office predictions from the 14th to the 16th of June. And how in the intro I said 6, well, Gold Derby, you get to choose between, the increments of number 1. And I don't know number 1. So we'll talk about that later. We'll just talk to that later. We already know what number 1 is going to be, but let's just talk about that whole process later. Anyway, and that number 1 is what's coming out. Inside Out 2. Period. Let's go. All right. Last weekend, though, I don't know what number 1s are anymore when it comes to numbers, but let's talk about this. Number 5 was Apes. I was thinking 6, it was 5.4, so it dropped a little bit less, which I guess makes sense because Bad Boys can take some of that audience from Kingdom, so fair enough, 5.4, but not in that range. Number 4 was actually The Watchers. I was thinking 13, it was 7 mil. So this has now got me nervous about PG-13 horror movies as a whole. This, Tarot, R-rated horror movies are doing better. Even though you might not say by a lot, but Abigail, and another one came out. So it's got me wondering, are teen horror movies the way to go anymore? Should it be the R? Are we pandering to the PG-13 crowd now? I don't freaking know, but 7 million is pretty atrocious. Number 3 at that point was If. I was thinking 7 million. It did 7.8. Way better hold than I thought. It had a 5% better hold than the number 2, actually, Garfield. I was thinking 9.9. It was 10 million. So that's the only one. Numbers-wise, I was somewhat close. Of course, Bad Boys was number 1 with 56.5. I was expecting 44.4. So that's got me wondering when looking at these weekend numbers. All right, so you had Fall Guy. Kind of go underestimations. All right, If. About right. Furiosa, way the fuck down. I mean, way the fuck down. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes did pretty solid. And now we have Bad Boys. Did way better than what people expected. Sony had 30. I think predictions had between 45 and 50, but it did 56. Is it worth it? Yes. I thought that was fun. All right. So that's where I fucked up. That was my bad. That I feel bad for myself. Anyway, these choices for number 3, 4, 5. I don't know what Inside Out 2 is going to do to Garfield. I don't know what it's going to do to If. And what I mean by that, will it have a better hit on Garfield because it's both animated, or will it have a both similar hit on both just because they're both kids movies, but one is more live action? So I don't know, because at that point, I want to say last weekend was like a 30-ish% drop for Garfield, 25%-ish drop for If. If it stays like that, easy peasy lemon squeezy. However, if Garfield drops more than expected, then If could overtake Garfield. But let's talk about this. Number 5, I'm staying with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with 3.6 million. Here's the thing. I think the hold for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will go back up because everyone saw Bad Boys. The thing is, can the Watchers have a 50% drop? If that's the case, I lost this bet. The reason why I'm tentative of saying it could do 50% because of Tarot. Tarot had a 48% drop, and that was in the 5 to 6 million range. Of course, that's less. So, but my gut is saying the Watchers is just not going to do well in the second weekend at all. So I think Apes 3.6, but I could see the Watchers being on its booty hole. All right, number 4, I'm going with If with 5 million. I'm having a lesser hold for If, so I think Garfield will drop more than If, but I do think Garfield will still barely hold out. But the gap between Garfield and If, I expect to decrease because it was a 2.8 million per million deficit, if you want to put it that way, or delta between those two last weekend. This week I'm only going with 1 million. So that means Garfield the movie, I'm going with number 3 at $6 million. Like I said, I think the gap is going to just get better and better, and there will be a weekend in the future that if will overtake Garfield, will it be in the top 5? I don't know, because I looked at next weekend. Nothing is coming out next weekend, and the weekend after that is Despicable Me 4. So who the hell knows? All right, of course, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, or yes, 25 mil. I'm saying a solid 53% drop, but it could have a stronger hold than we think. But I do think it is getting rid of some IMAX screens, some 4DX screens, so it is actually losing screens. It might be going to normal show times, but there we go. All right, Inside Out 2. I have been debating so freaking hard because everyone's saying 80 to 85 million. 80 to 85 million. Then we have other people saying over 100 million. My gut feeling was saying go 50 to 75 million. But then I'm thinking, am I overzealous thinking it's going to be a lower dominator? Because when looking at Bad Boys, I was wrong. Kingdom, I was wrong. Furiosa, I was wrong. But of course, I was the opposite direction. So the only one I was perfectly right was with If. Other ones I've been shitting the bed for. So the question is, am I going between the 7,500 million range or 100 million range? Because can I see this dude Toy Story 4 numbers? No. But I'm also wondering how big of a franchise really is Inside Out. Yes, I'm in the process of watching the first one again, and it's a solid freaking movie. I'm halfway done. I forgot how good the movie actually was. So that's why I'm going with a little bit over the expectations because they're saying 80 to 85, but I'm going with 93.7 mil. I think it's safe, but my gut feeling also wants to say, fuck it, Chase, put it at 103 million. I'm giving myself a 10 million range buffer, but if it goes over 100 mil, I lose that bet. But I think 93.7 is solid. Because then I have to think about, okay, what is Disney's brand like right now? Our family is really pissed off at Disney. Strange World, bomb. Ray and the Last Dragon, okay, that was during COVID, but kind of a bomb. Onward, even though I like that movie a lot. Lightyear, bomb. Turning Red, Luca. Yes, you can say Turning Red and Luca never had the... what was the third one that came out? Was Turning Red, Luca, and Pixar released all three of them back in theaters. Anyway, so I don't know. That's why, am I being overzealous? Maybe, but I think 93.7 solid. But like I said, guesstimations. This is a hard weekend, folks, because will it be Apes Watchers? Will Garfield and It flip? Like I said, the only two I'm 100% certain for is number 1 and number 2. And here's a quick recap. Number 5, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, 3.6 million. Number 4, If, 5 million. Number 3, Garfield the Movie, 6 million. Number 2, Bad Boys Ride or Die, 25 mil. Number 1, Inside Out 2, 93.7. You gotta let me know down below what you truly think. Chase Lehocky here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if things Futontopia. You Blue Futon. Just think, watch. Have a great day. I don't care what to say tomorrow, a week from now, a month, or a year from now. Every single freaking one of you. Seriously, let me know down below.